What's up, guys? So today we're going to be working on a repair, and for none other than our good friend from the Soulful podcast, EDs. Yep, that it is. And if you guys haven't yet checked out the Soulful podcast, please do. It's an amazing podcast led by these two bodacious beauties from Brockton, Massachusetts, which is the same city that raised your boy. So click the link in the info card, check out their podcast, and just get in on some of the amazing conversations that they have. But until then... So today I'm going to be showing you guys how I restrand a waist bead when I'm only using my hands and I'm not using a needle, because the waist bead is on elastic instead of a thread. And it's actually pretty simple. So let's get right into it. So this is the piece that we're going to be remaking for her hair, which I made a couple of years ago now, and it's actually beautiful. It features red river jasper, white mother of pearl, red bamboo coral, and some gold sandstone or some goldstone. I've heard both are correct, and either way people will know what you're referring to. So we're gonna restrand this, and I'm gonna show you guys exactly how I do that relatively quickly, so that we're not going to be putting on some 100, however many pieces go into this thing. So the first thing I'm going to do is take out an elastic the exact size of the waist bead that we're repairing. And it's pretty easy at this point. Literally all you're doing is just putting them side by side, just like this. And you're going to take out your elastic, the same size. I, just for the sake of a little bit of slack, like to cut a little extra off the end. So if I'm ending here, I'll just give it maybe an inch, 2 inches, sometimes even 5 inches extra, just because I love having a lot of space when I'm doing my work. So after you've taken your new elastic and attached it to the new barrel clasp that you're going to be putting or replacing the beads onto, the first thing that you want to do is you want to cut the end of the old waist bead, or at least just one of the ends. Now, since it's going to be relatively close, this is where close to the end, obviously you're not going to have a lot of space to work with, so the first few beads you're just going to have to take on by hand. And however many you need to take on, just to get a lip, enough space for you to be able to grab the elastic and to work with something. So now that you've created enough space for you to actually be able to work, there's enough elastic for you to grab onto. What you're gonna do is you're gonna take the elastic in your hands, right? This is what I like to do, and then I make a pinching motion with my hands, just like this. Well, with my fingers, with my index finger and with my thumb, just like this. And then I grab as many beads in a sequence as I possibly can, or that will fit comfortably in between my fingers. And I pull them off, and I keep them in that assortment nice and tight in my fingers. And then I pull, or rather push in this case, I don't know why I said pull, the elastic straight through all of the beads that are in my hand until it goes through. Okay, so once you've strung enough of the beads onto the new elastic that you have a considerable amount of space on the old one, what I like to do is I grab the elastic kind of just like this inside of my middle finger, right? And then the next beads that are in the sequence, which in this case happen to be these 3 pieces of white mother of pearl, I make a pinching formation with my fingers just like this, with my index finger and with my thumb specifically. And then what I do is really tightly pinch all of the beads that I'm going to be transferring, so that when I take them off the elastic, they stay inside of my finger just like this, in this kind of A-OK gesture. And then I take the elastic that I'm going to be transferring them onto, and I push it through all of the beads without moving them. And it takes a little bit of finesse, but just like that, I don't have to spend time taking one bead off at a time. Now, mind you, this only works if you're using it in accordance with the pattern. So since technically when you're restranding, you're going to be putting beads on backwards, you want to make sure that whatever the beads are that you're pinching are beads that work, obviously are meant to be sitting together, if you understand what I mean. Now, as you get better, you can try and see just how many beads you can fit in between your fingers in one go. But this is how I go about restranding waist beads when I'm using nothing but just my hands. But if you're interested in getting some custom waist beads, you can either email me at service.bytrokon@gmail.com, fill out the custom order form at beadsbytrokon.com, or just DM me on Instagram at beadsbytrokon. But until then, stay one of one.